In our last 3 sessions, we've been discussing a letter from a woman who asked why women are better at loving than men. I suggested that asking which gender is better at loving might be far less productive than looking at why neither men nor women are much good at loving unconditionally. Rather than sharing real love, we tend to trade imitation love, manipulating each other for all we can get. Now back to the writer of the letter. While real love is given freely, without conditions, we have to earn the imitation love we get. And the most effective way to earn it is to give it to the people around us. In my experience, men and women are equally lacking real love and are both desperately trying to fill their emptiness. The significant difference between them is not in the amount of love they give or receive, but in the ways they earn the imitation love they hope will bring them happiness. How they differ is in the proportion of the different forms of imitation love they use: praise, power, pleasure, and safety. As I describe these differences, I'm outlining the general pattern, recognizing that many men and women are exceptions to that pattern. Most women have been taught from the time they were little girls that they are supposed to earn imitation love in an entirely different way from young boys. For example, a 6th grade girl can walk onto the schoolyard at recess and say, "I'm feeling sad and lonely." If she does that, other girls will gather around her, get a look of concern on their faces, express real sympathy for her condition, and ask what they can do to help. Girls learn that love means to share feelings, express sympathy, and offer emotional support. You women who are listening to this need to pay close attention here. If a 6th grade boy were to walk onto the schoolyard and say, "I'm feeling sad and lonely," he would not be surrounded by love and support. He would be laughed at, ridiculed, and mocked. It's highly likely that he would be physically tormented, and he would almost certainly be socially avoided thereafter. He'd be picked last on the kickball team, and if an adult male teacher saw him, he'd say, "Hey, what are you crying about?" On the other hand, if a 6th grade boy were in a fight, his buddies wouldn't hesitate to rush over to help him take on the boy who was hurting him. They wouldn't call that a loving act in words, but that's what it would be for them. This goes far to explain why it is that women believe that they are more loving than men. Women have been trained to believe that listening, touching, asking how their partner's days went, that kind of thing, is all evidence of love. And they believe that when their boyfriends or spouses don't do those things, they're not being loving. The truth is, it's just a matter of how the two genders were trained to get the imitation love they want. And we'll talk more about that in our next session.